Okay, so I've installed MCreator here, and uh, let's kind of walk you through this space. So when you want to create a mod, you'll hit plus sign here, and then you'll get all the different kinds of mods that you can create. If you when you go to create a mob, like a living entity, then you'll have resources. You'll have texture files, the 3D model, and the animation sounds. And so you'll add these kind of things from, for example, from Blockbench, and then these will be the resources that your living entity will use. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. I think first let's create a simple um, kind of item mod and go through that. Or maybe a block mod would be first, then item, and then we'll create a living entity and go from there. Okay, so let's go through setting up a new mod. So you'd hit plus sign, and let's say we wanted to create a block mod. You create block. You'd name it. So you'd say whatever you want to call it, docx block test, right? So I already have this block created. You hit create new block. Your block, when you create it, would open up, and you wouldn't see a texture here. It would look like this. The X button is how you remove things in these graphical interfaces. It's usually in the lower left corner once it's set. So I'm going to double click here, and what you would do is say create texture from scratch. You would fill with a template. I think that makes it easier. You don't have to, but that's what I did. And then you can select a basic texture block. Oops. And I chose, I think I chose this one. So there you can see a basic texture block. You can change the height and width of the block if you wanted to. All right, so you create it, and now you have this this pixel painting program. And then you can go through here. You can select a color, and then start painting by clicking. And then you can change the color again and start clicking. That's how I made my block. So this would be a texture. You just hit save as new texture, and then you would name your block. And then once you name the block, you'd hit save texture. Docx block. Hit save texture. Okay. And then you'd have the texture saved. You'd go here. The texture would be right there, but you could also search for it. Sometimes it's good to select all. And then you could search for what you called it, but it'll always be the first one. So double click that. And now this, because you set it in this main block, it copies the texture to all the other sides. But if for some reason you wanted to have different sides look different, you could make a different texture for the top, for left, front, right, and back. There's two things that you want to make sure that you set, otherwise you will not be able to see the block in your world. First one is on this Create Inventories tab. You'll want to define the block, and you just want to, it needs to be something so that you can see it in the Inventories tab. So you're going to call it, I'm going to put in building block. So that's the first thing you want to do. And then the second thing you want to make sure you do is in the generation, you want it to replace some kind of existing block if you want it to like generate in the world. So I'm just going to hit the grass block like I had in there. So it will replace some grass blocks in the world, and you want to click check to enable. You want to make sure that it's going to generate in the world. If you don't check this, it won't generate in the world. For the height size, you can set whatever. I just put it from the very bottom up to 128, and then that works because it'll just replace whatever grass. It'll only replace grass blocks. It won't spawn otherwise. Okay, so this will work. So one of the things that I changed on this block was that I made it going to add a jump factor. So if you jump off this block, you're going to create a jump factor of +3. So you're going to jump really high. So if you ran just that mod with just the jump factor, what you'll notice is that you'll take damage when you land because you're jumping so high. So if what you need to do is create some procedures for it. So this procedure here, the block fall damage procedure, that will allow you to negate the damage from landing on that block. So it looks a little complicated, but it's not too bad. So I'll walk through with you here and show you how to do it, because sometimes it's hard to find where the block is. So the if block is under flow control, and so you just drag that onto the workspace. And then we need some and logic. Okay, so if you go here to logic and then you go to this, the and is going to be under that. So and or. And so then you can put that here and you could do and it'll show it like this. I like changing it to the external inputs when it's long so you can see it. Otherwise, it'll just be like one long line. So now that'll be over each other. And the is block, you have to use the logic one. So if you go back under logic, you'll see is blank 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 the same as blank, right? So that's the one you're going to want to use for logic. And then the get block is under the block procedures, and that'll get you your block. And then the same block as, that's where you'll use your Minecraft components, and you'll use this. And this will allow you to double click it. It'll show you all the different type of blocks, and then you can just type in my blocks here because it's my mod block, but you could also type in the name of the block. So there you go, that's that. And then this is looking at the position. So is the block at the position where I'm at the same as the block I created, my special block? If you want to get it just one below, then you would set, you go to math, and then there you have this operator, and you can put that in here, put that there, change this to minus, and then you need a number. So you can drag this number in here, and then you can set it to -1 or whatever you'd like. Now this might be overkill here. I don't know if you actually need it. Maybe we should try that and see what happens. Okay, so the print is going to be under text. So you go to print. Okay. And put that there. So this number dependency, that's the amount of damage you take. So, and that's going to be under the dependencies. And so if you come over here, you'll see, different types of damage that the server side is going to calculate for you. And this amount is the name for the damage amount. So if you click it, you'll get it double clicked. So that'll show you the damage amount. And then we'll do another print statement. And now the current health, that's under entity, data. And there's current health. So then you can put that there. So that'll give me the damage I took and my current health. And then what we want to do is set the health to negate the damage of falling. We're going to set the health of our entity to be the current health plus the damage we took, right? So actions. I think it's near the bottom here. Set. You can also search for it. There it is right there. You could also search. So if you were to search for the word health, then it will say entities actions set health of the entity to something. This is useful. It's kind of what's kind of interesting is MCreator makes it so that you can't make errors. So the functions that you get for each entity will be completely dependent on the global trigger. So if this is hurt, then you'll get a certain amount of certain types of functions under the entity procedures. If it was fall, then you'll get a different kind of set of functions. So it's kind of context aware, and that's to prevent you from making errors or writing bad code. So yeah, so if you search here, sometimes you won't find some of the functions, but that's because the functions are related to the trigger that you're using. Okay, so I want to add the current health and the damage health, these two. So I need to do a math. So I'm going to do math. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to put that right there. And then I can just duplicate these variables. So that, and there we go. I just remade this. So what I didn't do is I didn't add this if the provided damage is from fall type, which we need that here because it's if we're hurt, but we want to specify if we're hurt and it's because we fell. So if we fall and we're on our block, then negate the damage, right? So let's add this fall type damage. So logic, and then here we go, is provided damage of type such. And then we're going to double click that, and then we can type fall. And there we go. So now I'm going to use this this new block to see it's a little simpler. Let's see if we actually need to check if we're inside the block. We're just going to do this one. I'm going to save and keep open. Okay, so we're going to run it, and because we set the jump factor, we should jump higher. And you should see some outputs here. So if I have full health, here we go. All right, you can see that that first number is my damage that I would take from falling, and the second number is my current, would be my health after falling. So 6 plus 14 is 20. That's the calculation. Remember, this is being triggered after I fall. So it's giving me my health after I've fallen. So we'll double check that. So there you go. Oh, I'm healing. So you could see it would say that my health would be 6.33 after falling. And because each heart, it counts as 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have a little bit extra.
So our mod worked. We're jumping higher and we're taking no damage.
What I want to do is show you right now if I jump and land,
I just stop. So I want to add a rebound effect, so I keep jumping high as I land on it. So let's do that. So we'll save and quit. And now we'll come back to our workspace, go to the mod elements, have this soft block. All right, so if I fall, and this is checking to make sure this is right before I land on my block, one block above. If one block below me is my special block, then I want to override my motion in all the three different axes, X, Y, and Z. So that's a vector. And so what I said is that once I'm once my block is right below me, I want to change my Y vector to 1. So that's going to make it look like I'm bouncing. So let's see what that looks like. And then I'm going to write overriding fall. Or let's just write bounce. So that's pretty good. All right, let's save this mod. I'll keep it open because I want to keep modifying it and see what happens. So I'm going to run it. All right, so now I'm going to jump on this. The previous procedure allowed me not to take damage. Now let's see what happens with this. And now you can see that I am bouncing, which is pretty cool. All right, now I'm going to try to bounce and put another block and bounce off of that. Let's see. So I did bounce off of it. uh, all right, let's try that again. Pretty cool. Here's my parkour course. Oh, I missed it. All right, so you want to put the cross just in front of the edge. See? All right. All right, so there you go. So that's a quick tutorial of making a block, painting it, then adding a jump effect so that you bounce high, then negating the damage from the jump effect, and then finally adding a bounce trampoline effect when you land on it. Pretty cool. Hope that's helpful. Next time we'll create an item mod.